Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles addressed the media on Wednesday with important updates on wide receivers Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan, both of whom have been dealing with injuries that raised concern heading into the next stretch of the season. Bowles confirmed that veteran star Mike Evans, who left Sunday's game with a minor hamstring issue, is day-to-day and remains a possibility to play this week. Although the Bucs are being cautious, Bowles noted that Evans' condition is not considered serious, and the team is optimistic he could return to practice in some capacity before game day. "Mike knows his body better than anyone," Bowles said. "We're going to monitor him throughout the week. He's progressing, and we'll see how he feels by Friday." Rookie receiver Jalen McMillan, who has been battling an ankle sprain, is also trending in the right direction, according to Bowles. The young wideout was able to participate in light work during Tuesday's walkthrough, and the team expects to increase his workload gradually. "Jalen has been working hard with the trainers," Bowles stated. "He's getting closer, and we're hoping he can take another step forward this week. We'll evaluate him daily." The Bucs' offense struggled in stretches last game, making the health of Evans and McMillan even more critical as Tampa Bay prepares for a key NFC matchup this weekend. Evans remains the engine of the receiving corps, while McMillan's development has been a bright spot for a team searching for consistency. Bowles emphasized that the Buccaneers will not rush either player back prematurely, but the early signs suggest that both receivers could be available sooner than initially feared. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers finally returned to the win column this past Sunday, earning a narrow 20-17 victory over the Arizona Cardinals and improving their season record to 7-5. On paper, it was a much-needed win, one that keeps them firmly in the mix for the NFC South crown as the season enters its final month. But perhaps the biggest storyline to emerge after the victory didn't even unfold on the field. Instead, it came on Monday afternoon when head coach Todd Bowles addressed the media and delivered long-awaited updates on two of Tampa Bay's most important offensive weapons, Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan. Both receivers have been absent for extended stretches this season, and their injuries have forced the Buccaneers to rely heavily on younger players, rotational wideouts, and an inconsistent passing attack. As the Bucs prepare for a division-deciding 3-game stretch, their potential return could dramatically reshape Tampa Bay's offensive identity and elevate their playoff hopes. Evans and McMillan, the long road back. Rumors surrounding Evans and McMillan had been circulating for weeks, with fans eager for any positive sign. Mike Evans, a franchise cornerstone and one of the most productive wide receivers of the past decade, suffered a fractured collarbone in Week 7 during a hard-hitting matchup against the Detroit Lions. Meanwhile, rookie Jalen McMillan experienced a fractured and strained neck in the preseason, a frightening injury that sidelined him before he ever had a chance to showcase his potential in meaningful action. Bowles confirmed on Monday that both players are officially possibilities to return to practice this week. While that doesn't guarantee game action, it's the strongest indication yet that the Buccaneers may soon enter the stretch run with their receiving corps close to full strength for the first time this season. When asked specifically about Evans, Bowles didn't elaborate much, simply calling his return possible. That brevity may suggest cautious optimism. Evans' injury requires careful management, especially for a player whose physical style of play depends heavily on upper body strength and mobility. Bowles did, however, provide more detail regarding McMillan. He indicated that the young wideout may be able to do more in practice this week, but the true test will come when he participates in drills with a helmet on. After a neck injury, the medical clearance process is far more complex than a typical rehab timeline, and the team remains focused on ensuring long-term safety over short-term gains. Why the returns matter more than ever. If Evans and McMillan were to return this week against the New Orleans Saints, it would be a massive boost, but the Buccaneers aren't putting all their hopes on immediate availability. Even if neither plays on Sunday, the fact that both are returning to practice is a significant milestone, especially considering the timing. The Buccaneers are entering the most crucial stretch of their season. Week 14 versus the New Orleans Saints, Week 15 versus the Atlanta Falcons, Week 16 versus the Carolina Panthers, and Week 18 at the Carolina Panthers. The final two matchups against the Carolina loom especially large, as the Panthers are breathing down Tampa Bay's neck in the NFC South race. And their late-season push has made the division one of the tightest in football. The Bucs will very likely need to win at least one of their games against the Panthers, and possibly both, to secure the division and host a playoff game. Without Evans, the Buccaneers have lacked a true "we won" presence. His ability to win contested catches, stretch the field vertically, and draw double teams fundamentally changes defensive game plans. Even in years where the Buccaneers' offense has struggled, Evans has remained one of the most consistently productive receivers in the NFL. McMillan, though a rookie, was expected to play a sizable role this season. His route-running ability, separation skills, and versatility made him one of the Buccaneers' most exciting offensive additions. His return could allow the Bucs to operate more cleanly in the intermediate passing game, an area where they've struggled at times without a dynamic secondary receiver. Todd Bowles under pressure as division narrows. One of the more understated storylines of this update is how it impacts Bowles himself. This season has been a roller coaster for the Buccaneers, with inconsistent offensive production, injuries to key players, and a defense that has struggled to maintain its early season dominance. Bowles has faced heavy scrutiny for conservative play calling, late-game collapses, and questionable personnel decisions. A fully healthy receiving core may not only help the Buccaneers win games, may also help Bowles secure his job heading into 2026. Winning cures everything in the NFL, and Bowles knows the stakes. Win the division, job security, home playoff game, renewed faith. Lose the division, organizational reevaluation, and coaching uncertainty. Getting Evans and McMillan back increases the likelihood of the former outcome. The New Orleans test, a must-win and a tone-setter. The Saints come into Tampa this Sunday in a matchup that could dramatically shift the playoff picture. While the Saints have had their own inconsistencies, division games often bring unpredictability and heightened emotion. This matchup is important not just for standings, but for momentum. If Evans or McMillan returns, even in a limited capacity, it could give the Buccaneers a deeper passing attack, more reliable third down options, better red zone efficiency, greater flexibility in personnel groupings. But even if neither returns this week, just having them back in the practice environment lifts morale and gives the offense something to build toward. Looking ahead, the Panthers' clashes could define the season. With the Panthers emerging as the biggest threat to Tampa Bay's playoff hopes, the two teams' matchups in Week 26 and Week 18 have become must-see games. These contests could determine the NFC South champion, a potential playoff berth, whether Tampa enters the postseason on a high or low note. Evans and McMillan both project to be key pieces in those games if they return on schedule. Carolina's secondary has shown inconsistency this year, and the Buccaneers will need every weapon available to exploit those weaknesses. Why this update is a turning point. While Monday's update might seem small in the grand scheme, its significance cannot be overstated. The Buccaneers have been battling through injury, inconsistency, and pressure all season. Finally, they have a path toward returning two of their most important offensive contributors. Bowles' message was clear and hopeful. Evans, possible return this week. McMillan, increasing workload, critical helmet test upcoming. Both trending toward late-season availability. With the playoffs on the line, Tampa Bay couldn't ask for better timing. The Buccaneers now control their fate. And with Evans and McMillan potentially back soon, the team may finally have enough firepower to finish the job.